Hi, I'm Beth, one of the journalists at Manx Radio, and thank you very much for downloading this episode of Newscast, which is all about the Manx Care Advice and Liaison Service. Let's find out more.
So MCALs means the Manx Care and Advice Liaison Service. And what that means is that we can help people, signpost people into a service. We're a good listening service for the public, for service users, carers and families. If they're not sure where to go, or they may have had a good experience or a poor experience, they come to us. We can help signpost them into a really good service, or we can help them on the day. And normally we help people there and then, or we can signpost them into some of these amazing charities or other departments across the Isle of Man, and we work together to get a really good outcome for patients of the Isle of Man.
I suppose one of the things is to get across to people just the fact that you exist, because the Isle of Man, people hear names and words, but they don't understand exactly what it is.
That's right, and I think obviously Manx Care is still quite new. You know, we're coming into our third year this year, 2021. Coming out of the pandemic, we were established, and MCALs was a really big part of that, because it's a one-stop shop. We're an integrated service, whereas previously you might have had the hospital running on its own, you might have had primary care, GP practices running on their own, and now we're all coming together to support the people of the Isle of Man, to really join things up and bring things together. And we're really starting to find, 20,000 people have come through our doors in the last 2 years to talk to us. We can give them help and support, and whether it's waiting for a GP appointment, whether it's, I've had some good experience but I just want to share that, or whether, it hasn't quite hit the mark, what can I do and how can you help me rectify it? And that's what we do. We listen to people, we understand, and we share that feedback back to our Manx Care Board so that they can shape the future direction, and then that also gets shared with our commissioner, which is the DHSC, who then can form strategies and plans for how we can go in the future. So it's really important that we listen to the patient voice, we listen to it, and we make changes from that, and that's how we're going to basically develop for the future of the Isle of Man Health Service. So this is really exciting today, so we're very glad that people have come to take the time, and hopefully that lots of people will come down.
Now, we Manx are a pretty reticent lot. Is there a reluctance, do you think, among people who maybe have something that they would like to get off their chest to actually come forward and tell you?
Absolutely right. I think definitely in the past there's been a bit of a hesitancy to come forward. We're a small island, lots of people know each other, but I think now as we're going forward, what we're showing is that it's all dealt with in confidence. Our surveys that we do are very anonymous, so we're using that detail to make changes, but please, come together, because by talking and by listening we can make that change. And without that patient voice, as I've said, we are just going to carry on making decisions, for example, that might not be quite where we need to go. But with the patient voice, you can't get better than your service user telling you. They've lived that experience, they can tell you. And the charities and departments that we're working with here today, are people that come together to help join things up for that person, because Manx Care, on its own, we can't do it all alone. And by all this coming together, we can really, really help people. So yeah, it's about listening, it's about sharing experiences for the greater good.
Well, as people who are hearing this would probably gather, we're in the sports hall at the NSC by the table tennis going on in the background. But we're half the sports hall, I should say, really. And there are so many charities in here. What was the main idea of this event today? And I think I'll bring in Rachel at this point. Rachel, yes. You are?
I am the MCALs service lead.
So what is the main reason for today?
So the idea behind it was, often when people get in touch with MCALs, because obviously you can call MCALs if you need a bit of help, or you need a bit of signpost and you've got some concerns about your health. We often signpost it into a charity, because it's not always something that you need from Manx Care. It's not necessarily a GP or the consultant. And there's wonderful charities on the island that do some wonderful work, but you don't know that they're there necessarily until you're looking for that help. So it was a little bit of getting everybody together so that we could all find out more about each other ourselves, all the different charities and Manx Care, but also so the public can learn what's on the island, what services are here to support.
Eve Wilson, Manx Children's Art Therapy. It's a charity, I must admit, I hadn't heard about. So what is it about?
Well, Manx Children's Art Therapy, we fundraise to finance the art therapist who is hosted at the Children's Centre at Walbury Farm. So Fern Callister, who is our lovely art therapist, she is a fully qualified art therapist, and in 2023 she did 267 one-to-one art therapy sessions, and we put on 3 group workshops for art therapy.
And of course, art, it really helps people with their mental health. If they have chronic illness, it takes their mind off it, and it's almost like a form of relaxation, I suppose.
Well, our patients are typically between the ages of 8 and 18, and the art therapy sessions help them improve their physical, mental and emotional well-being. I think typically younger people find it difficult to verbalise what they're feeling and what they're thinking. So talking therapy often doesn't work as well for that age group, whereas art therapy, particularly done with someone like Fern, who is qualified to lead them through what they're thinking, what they're feeling and what they're drawing, and asking them questions relating to what they have drawn is hugely beneficial for that age group.
And how would somebody, a parent for instance, who thinks their child might benefit from your charity, how would they communicate with you?
They would either contact us directly at Manx Children's Art Therapy. We have a website, mcat.im, and we would refer them to the Children's Centre or contact the Children's Centre directly, which is where our service is hosted. And then the Children's Centre will pick up that contact and go forward from there.
Peter Marvin, a trustee with the Heroes on the Water charity. You're down here at this event today. Tell us a little bit about the charity, because it's probably one that a lot of people don't know an awful lot about.
Well, the charity, which was formed in America as a whole in 2007, went off into Canada, it's in the UK and in Australia, and in 2017 we were offered the old arcade centre at Port Sodrick as a storage facility really, but it's become more than that now. It's now a hub, and we offer palliative care. We're not clinical in any way, to all ex-military and serving military, plus the blue light services and anybody else that's wore a uniform for public service. And we provide kayak fishing, boat fishing, horse carriage driving and sailing, with sailing for disabled.
So it's a fantastic facility, and I must admit I've been down there and seen it. A lot of people maybe haven't been down to Port Sodrick. It must have been quite a job to convert that building into this current use.
Well, yeah, it took about 3 to 4 years for us to get it up and running as it is now, but we're still doing things obviously. But yeah, but thanks to a whole shed of people and some firms and contractors who helped either with labour or materials to what we've got today.
And how many people make use of the charity at the moment?
Well, if I can just point you towards the stats on the computer, it'll give you an idea that in 2001, for instance, when we started keeping records, we were open this 203 days in a year, and we had 1,065 people coming through the door, either for just come down for talk and a chat and a brew, or taking part in all the activities that we put on. Now you go to 2023 and we're up to 1,500 people.
That's an extraordinary number, and of course I guess as well as all the activities, it's just as important for people to have somebody to talk to.
Correct. That's the start of anybody's problems, solving it. We obviously don't do clinical, we're not trained and we don't pretend to be trained, but we have associated charities like Rocks to Recovery, point them in the right direction. They're trained to mentor you and help you solve your problems, but we do not do it, we're not trained.
And if anybody wants to take advantage of what the charity can offer, how do they get in touch with you?
Simple, just come down to Port Sodrick any day, Tuesday to Saturday. We're open 10 till 2 o'clock. Come in, have a chat, have a cup of tea.
So don't be shy, just come and walk in.
Just come along. Anybody can come in. We don't, anybody, even if you never served, just come in. You can have a cup of tea. Don't cost you anything, but you've got to have served or be a blue light services to actually take part in all of the actual events we put on, because it's for them, not for people on the street. If you know what I mean.
Okay, Peter, thanks very much.
Okay.
Claire, Alzheimer's Society, I think this is obviously something that everyone is increasingly aware of in society, the prevalence of Alzheimer's. It's not just the person suffering, it's all the people in the family and everybody else as well.
Yeah, so people living with dementia and their family and loved ones are finding it challenging to manage at home and support people. So Alzheimer's Society steps in and supports people on a one-to-one basis in their home. We run groups and offer them the support. We join them on the journey. We call it a journey. Every person that has dementia is unique. They're a unique person and their journey will be different. And so we cannot predict how long that journey is going to be, what changes and what might happen. So we join them and we can help them navigate that as things change on that journey.
You made the point to me earlier, it's not just old people either, is it?
No, we have seen younger people being diagnosed with dementia and what's called young onset dementia. So people under 65 are being more aware. I think the awareness of symptoms and so people are coming forward with those symptoms and investigating whether that's a dementia and are being diagnosed younger on that journey.
On a positive note, there have been some positive signs in terms of medical advancements, and where are we with that?
Yeah, so Alzheimer's Society is involved in a lot of research programmes for the new 2 drugs that are coming in and are being researched by NICE. So lecanemab and decamamab are 2 drugs that are being widely used in America, but there's more research being done with those drugs. And so in July, NICE will announce whether or not those will be available in the UK. Alzheimer's Society have put forward many voices of people with dementia and many people on the research programme. They've also researched and produced a blood test, which the blood test can detect earlier signs of Alzheimer's. And with the new drugs coming online, whereby treatment might be available for those people, then maybe people can get the diagnosis much earlier on.
And if anybody needs help and they would like to talk to somebody, how would they get in touch with your charity?
So they can ring us on 613181. You can email us on isleofman@alzheimers.org.uk and one of us will respond to them.
And of course, a point to stress, don't be worried about coming forward and talking about it.
Yeah, coming forward means you get the early support and the early understanding of your disease, and that can allay some fears, can make sure that there's things in place that need to be in place, and then we help and support you to live life with the disease and fulfill your life and meet your wishes for the future.
Thank you for making it to the end of the Little Manx Radio newscast. You are obviously someone with exquisite taste. May I politely suggest you might want to subscribe to this and a wide range of Manx Radio podcasts at your favourite podcast provider so our best bits will magically appear on your smartphone. Thank you.